All right, this is the Boot Podcast, episode 9, and we're gonna go live on TikTok. This is TikTok live. This is my first time doing this, so we'll see how this goes. I don't even know if we'll have anybody in. Let's see. So how do I do this? The Boot Podcast Q&A. Let's see what's up. All right. All right, we're live. So, one thing that I do want to talk about while we wait for anybody to come on, if anybody does come on, is how the one question that we normally get was how we slept in Iraq or where we lived. But we didn't just sleep in one place. We first of all, I was in Camp Fallujah, right? And Camp Fallujah is actually really nice. I don't think it's operating anymore, but it's right by the city of city of Fallujah. So the city of Fallujah is where the big battle, the Battle of Fallujah in 2004, where they went in twice. First time they had to go in, they got pulled. They did a massive raid, and then they had to pull back out the Marines, and then they were ordered to go in again. All right, we got some people. 1915. All right. So in Camp Fallujah, that's where in the camp in the on base is where we had electricity, we had showers, we had chow halls, had multiple chow halls, and everybody it was fairly safe in there. And once in a while, we'll get motor what do you call that? Motor attacks, right? Like alarms. And inside the base, there'll be a bunch of these concrete concrete shelters where you gotta run to them when the siren starts ringing. It's a little intense. It's not that, but that's the thing. So it's not that intense if you've been out the wire, and the wire is when you go outside of the base. So inside Camp Fallujah, which is the base, is fairly safe. It's still in a hostile territory. Obviously, is in a war zone. But once you go out the wire, and you're used to being outside the wire, and you're used to getting shot at, and you're used to fighting, getting shitted on, basically. The mortar attacks on base is not as frightening, and that's to each his own, right? For most of us, the ones who were outside the wire, don't really panic that much, especially because we know that the people, the terrorists or whatever, they're not that good. We have a lot of systems too, a lot of technology, right? We have a lot of systems where we can detect where mortars and fire shots are coming from. So, and they know that too. So they're fairly smart too. The enemy's fairly smart, where they are smart, where they shoot and run, because so that makes it even more inaccurate when they do try to attack. Not to say that they don't attack. Camp Fallujah is a very big base. It's well protected, well funded. So the other smaller bases, they probably do get attacked, and that's where you see a lot of troops getting hurt. All right, what's up, brother? All right, let me see some. 747 Bubba, how you doing? Doing good. Jeremy Cleano. It's more annoying because they tend to rocket you while you try to eat or sleep. Yeah, exactly. They always get you where, you're somebody's always eating or sleeping, right? And that's when they get you, right? It's more annoying. All right. 747 Bubba. What's up? We had a jet in Kandahar, and he came under mortar attack. Tower told crew stop taxing. What's up, brother? Hey, thank you for your service and all you do for others. Thank you for that. What do you think of the current rumors of us going to face off with Russia? What do you think of the current rumors of us going to face off with Russia? Who's that? Dayton Colombian. What do I think about that? I don't think it's gonna. I mean, I don't want to say anything that's gonna mislead anything, but and then we do go to war. No, I don't think Russia is a big problem right now. Just from what I've been reading, China's more of the troublemaker. Subdued. Military enthusiast. Subdued. Noah is gangsta. What was your MOS? I was 2111. I did that for about a year. Then I went to machine gunner school, and trained as a machine gunner. Then went to Okinawa for deployment, trained Thai Marines and the Japanese Defense Force on the machine guns. Apparently in Thailand too, when I was in Thailand, they were training to fight. They had a war going down there that we didn't even know about, and obviously it was never being reported. The war that they were fighting, we're training the Thai Marines. So I was talking with them, and I was like, "What are you guys training for? Besides, so intensely, as if you guys going somewhere. You guys going to Iraq?" They're like, "No, they had." In southern Thailand, there were Thai Muslims attacking police and army. So the Thai Marines were deploying every 6 months as well. So they had to train, and they said they were getting fucked up. So yeah, shit that we don't know about. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going around the world that we do not know about. And that was one thing that I came to came to realization that. Man, the world can be nasty. The world is beautiful, but it can be nasty. The crew was seriously we wanted out here. Noah is gangsta. It's most likely Russia trying to show Ukraine what it can do to pressure them. Yeah, so it's all a freaking big giant test. Everyone's testing each other. I think China is a bigger issue than Russia. 747 Bubba. Yep. Not gonna happen. All Cold War. So yeah. So I trained as a machine gunner. Went to Okinawa. I trained. I knew a lot of the weapon systems because I was was a 2111, which is a small arms repairman. An armor, so I knew, I had to know all the weapon systems that the Marine Corps uses, almost all of them. If something was wrong, we would have to. We were the ones fixing it, right? We knew how to operate it, and we knew pretty much everything about it. That's why I really like weapons, I guess, right? Thank you for your service. Thank you, King Zeno0. What's up, man? Appreciate what you're putting out, baby. Pactual. Thank you. Appreciate it. What's this? What you say? Blink 290. What do infantry Marines do now that there is not a war in Afghanistan? I think there's still a war in Afghanistan. I don't think we pulled out completely. But what everyone's training, you're constantly training. No matter who you are, you're always constantly training. It's not like you just sit around. You're always preparing. You're always going to be ready. So it's not like, it's not a breeze. But, okay. So yeah, so I went to Okinawa, trained some Thai Marines, got to see the world a little bit, I guess. Came back, and then went to Iraq with 2nd Battalion, 7th Marine. My first firefight was behind a machine gun. Yeah, so It wasn't even my machine gun. It was somebody else's machine gun. And they made fun of him because I wasn't part of the actual battalion. I was with 311, 3rd Battalion, 11th Marines, which is the artillery, and then I got attached to 2nd Battalion, 7th Marine. I've carried a lot of Marines into Kadena, Okinawa. Kadena, I remember Kadena, 747 Bubba. Kadena. I miss Okinawa. Okinawa was great. It was a good time. I thought I was gonna go to Iraq because everyone was deploying to Iraq. So, oh man, I just wanted to. Being training in at a young age too, and just training to fight wars and kill. It made you want to go, and especially after seeing like so many other people, so many of your friends coming back. My brother was a Marine. At the same time, he went 3 times, so I was like, I wanted to go so bad. But that's when I learned, you gotta be careful what you wish for. Semper Fi, brother. Semper Fi, Siki Plumber. Plumber. Camp Kinzer. Yep. I'm married and I'm living in upstate New York, and I'm 29 and I'm gay. All right. My name is Nathan. All right. And Roberts 020. Nice meeting you too. So, all right. I'm a soldier. Thank you for your service. God bless you, brother. Popeye 732. You're a soldier. So thank you for your service too. All right. So, where we at? The way we lived in Camp Fallujah was very nice. The way they set it up, fairly smart, fairly, it was when I got there, I was surprised of how developed it was. We slept in canisters, right? They're like those giant freight crates, and they cut out holes in it like a door, so you could put in a door. They cut another hole for like air conditioner and a window. I believe there was a window. I don't know if there was a window, but I don't remember because we barely stayed there. If you're infantry and you go out the wire a lot, we only stayed in base maybe like once every 10 days, right? Or once a week. So we would train on base. We would eat, shower, sleep, and then we would go outside of base, outside the wire, and live in other people's houses outside in the villages for 7 to 10 days. But so we would go outside into the villages and take the platoon leader, platoon commander would pick a house. He would pick a house, and we would have to tell those people to actually leave the house. And we pay the money though. We were in Fallujah. Sorry if I missed it. I was in. What year were you in Fallujah? Sorry if I missed it. Jay Fine. I was in Fallujah 2007. Need to run. Locals generally receptive. Jay Fine. Were locals generally receptive and hospitable when you were there? Any stories about that? Yeah, they're great. The locals were great. The terrorists weren't. So at that time we were fighting Al Qaeda. Our neighbors, like, so when we did take over a house, we only stayed there for maybe 3 days, no more than 3 days, because if we stay there any longer, the enemy they'll observe it. They'll know that we're there. We always got to you got to keep moving. When in any survival situation, you always want to be on the move. You always want to move. When you stop, you die, right? If you ever heard of that. So yeah, they were very understanding. Especially if we gave them a shit ton of money. And so we would take over that house. We would put up security, put up sandbags all over the roof, position our trucks, and with machine guns on all of them, and block entrances. So any SV bed, which is like, suicide bombers with uh, any suicide bombers and a vehicle born suicide bombers would come in and try to blow up the house. We would have, and they did that multiple times. They would try to just drive straight right through into a Humvee that's blocking the roadway, the driveway, and they would just drive right through and boom. Yeah, and so the locals, sometimes we would, on patrols, our translator, he was Egyptian. Our translator, and he would talk to the neighbors. We would buy a goat, have a goat, and then they would cut it for us. They cut it up. We gave them like 15. I forgot how much it was, but they would cut it up for us and make a meal for us. So the neighbors, the locals were freaking awesome. They were really good. And sometimes they would, without even us asking, some neighbors, they would bring us like giant trays of rice, right? And it was so good because we haven't eaten like a home cooked meal or a hot meal. We always ate MREs. Let me see. So yeah, the locals were great, and especially when you're patrolling around, we would have to go into other people's houses and but we knock. The Marines always, we don't do some crazy. I heard some crazy stories about from Army friends what they did, but we were always try to be more respectful, and they loved us. So they would always be making naan bread in these in those ovens. I forgot what you call them, but and they were delicious. So we would always get offered bread, and we're always hungry, young and hot. It's like 120 degrees. Okay, who's this? Rob Kelly, 11M. Love your Medal of Honor clips. My brother Paul Smith got his in 2003. Whoa. Let's see. Goat grabs. Have you ever worked with Iraqi forces? Military.videos with a Z. Kinda. We didn't. A bunch of my infantry buddies, they never trusted him. They would always just tell me, "Hey Kim, don't turn your back on him." But we didn't work specifically, right? We didn't train them because we were doing our own thing. We had a clear Al Anbar province, like the cities that were designated to us. We had to clear it because it was supposed to be a transitioning. So we do a mass raid. We did so many raids, and we just we did a big push so we could clear it and then hand over it. So it'll be a lot safer, I guess. So I didn't get to specifically work with Iraqi forces. I'm glad I kind of didn't. It would have been a lot more hectic. I know a lot of Marines that did, especially in Afghanistan, like in Afghanistan forces and other foreign. It's complicated, because first language barrier, you need a translator. I mean, I think the special forces like SFs and SEALs, they probably have a better relationship, maybe. Red House, the house, they had some crazy stories in there about his unit there. Thomas, I hope to join the Air Force and become a TAC P. What you think? It's tough. I don't think a lot of people know about Air Force. Air Force has some crazy ass special forces units. The PJs. Good luck. Yeah, I could do it. I mean, you gotta try, right? Know what you're getting yourself into. I hope to become a Type P in the Air Force. Do you think we'll ever go to war with Iran? So from what I know with Iran, they can't they can't handle us. I'm not trying to be biased at all. They just can't. North Korea, Iran, they're not. From what I know, is that we don't take them seriously. Not, and I'm not saying that we don't take their threats seriously, in the sense of how much power we have over them. Yeah, I don't know. Plumber, I love my bros, past, present, future. Awesome, brother. BLK Terminator. That bread was really good. Hell yeah, right? It was the best. So, yeah, man. Oh yeah, the bread. So my translator would also bring some jam. I don't know what kind of jam it was, but it was good. And we would dip it. It was like, Middle Eastern jam and dips like that. Like tzatziki and stuff like that. It's really good. So yeah, so most of the times we didn't live in base. It was nice though when we did go back to base, but we would live in strangers' houses, and this was more in the farmlands, right? It wasn't like in the city where they had marble floors and stuff like that. It was just dirt. It was straight up dirt. It was dirty as shit too. It's third world, right? And no toilet, no real plumbing, no plumbing probably, right? They would have a refrigerator. I remember, like, houses would have refrigerators, and electricity would only run maybe like, I don't know, maybe like every 2 hours for like 15 minutes, something like that. It was just on and off. So the refrigerators, think about it. You don't want to open that shit either. Yeah, it's other people's shit. We always inspect the whole. We have to search the whole house before we just start living in it. One time right before we're leaving a house, we're tearing down the roof, meaning all the sandbags. We're taking down what we put up. One time, right before we were leaving, we found a shit ton of propane tanks dug around the house, right by the wall. And I don't know how we missed it. Whoever was searching, I wasn't part of the search team, but yeah, we whole shit ton of propane tanks. So that house could have blown up. It was we're like, what the fuck? And we left. Not as much love. All right, let me see this. You're saying they aren't equipped to handle the United States. Yeah, they're not. All right, so Jay Fine, do you think we underestimated Al Qaeda and Taliban by no, you weren't in Afghanistan fighting? Did we underestimate them? I think yeah. I think the public underestimated them, maybe, but like Marines and soldiers, once maybe we underestimated them in the first year of the Iraq invasion, but after that, if you're a soldier or a Marine or airman or a sailor going to war, you knew that it was nothing to take lightly. So after a while, no, I don't think we underestimated them. They were just fucking good. They were good. The snipers were some, and especially in Iraq, we had there were some good snipers out there in the enemy. All respect with that question. It just seems they knew their field and were a formidable fighting force. Yeah, they're definitely, like I just said, they knew what the fuck they were doing. They knew how to attack us. But it's a different type of war, right? A lot of the special forces like Recon Marines, MARSOC, SEALs, they're more effective, I want to say, in these kind of in this kind of battlefield, right? Because it's more guerrilla. It's more of a guerrilla warfare, and you need to fight that with the guerrilla warfare. Granted, you still need big infantry. You still need the kill bodies. You know, the like the special forces. They're small, right? You know, some of them travel in good sizes, depending on the mission. 17 maybe, 17 troops, whether they're sailors or Marines or whatever, army soldiers, but most of the time, you know, they're traveling, they're going out far, and what we know about special forces is like this thing where if you have to shoot, you fucked up, right? Like Navy, because you normally do reconnaissance when you're in special forces, but in Afghanistan and Iraq that changed. That's where you know, special forces groups are going in and actually, you know, grabbing what do you call that? Taking high priority targets, and I don't want to say kidnapping, but arresting them. So yeah, but the thing with special forces, I mean, they're trained. Obviously, they're the elite, but you know, they could get fucked up a lot too. You know, and I'm not trying to shit on them or anything. Hell no. It's just the fact that, man, you know, you hear the stories about them getting, you know, ambushed and stuff like that. Especially in like the one story in Africa. I don't know if anybody knows about that, but yeah, they got ambushed. Like, if I was special forces, I would love to know that we have QRF, which is quick reaction force, standing by, right? So that if we do get into the shit, you know, they could come immediately. And obviously that's not always the case. But for big infantry, we normally go on missions that where, you know, right before we go on the mission, we get briefed where they say, you know, this is what we have. You have F-18s, you know, in the sky. You have, you know, air support. Yeah, they'll give you, depending on what Intel knows. If they know there's a lot of hostiles in the area, the different support systems that they set up. Yeah, so it's pretty what do you call that? It's pretty like reassuring. It's reassuring that you have a big destruction force. You know, we're a kill force. You know, we just go in. We don't necessarily have to be so quiet. We go in and destroy it. Like, especially Marine infantry, right? Well, that's how we were, and we would either go out of that patrol house, that house that we took over. We would either one squad will go out and another squad would be on security on the roof. Another squad would be resting, and so there's 4 squads in a platoon, and then another squad either might be going out or also be resting. So either 2 squads out. And when you do go out on a mission from that patrol house, you would do, I think it was 3 things. You would do 3 things. Either like a recon mission, kind of like intel, or you know, I don't want to say recon, but more knocking on doors and searching houses, because like they're not allowed to have more than 1 AK per house, something like that. We would search houses and take pictures of the males in the house, or we would do like an ambush kind of thing, where we set up, where we do hide and just kind of wait. We'll wait to see if, you know, if we could attack anybody doing something crazy, especially like digging and planting IEDs if we're at night, especially at night, because nobody's allowed to be outside at night. And yeah, I didn't like ZK Plumber. I didn't like that house to house. Yeah, nobody does. It's crazy. And then the last other role probably we just walked around. One of the mission was just to walk around, and it wasn't blatantly just, hey, go walk around, but that's what the main thing was, just to walk around and to lure trouble. So what, one squad will be walking around and out in the open, we're just, doing our thing, searching, making a presence. We're like police, right? And just making our patrols, like 4 to 6 hours. We're just out there patrolling, and either we get attacked and then we know where they're getting attacked. We have QRF on standby. We have air support, all that. So it could get crazy. Let's see what's going on. I don't know where I left off. This is my first time doing TikTok live. It's pretty cool. Fishbone 1972. I lost a super close friend in Afghanistan from a roadside IED. Thanks for your service, friend. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sorry about your friend. Thanks for answering that, bro. My respect and thank you. Appreciate it. ZK Plumber, I served 20 years before you. Damn. Salty dog. That their bones are responded. It's pretty cool. They don't like that house. What you done? All right, Colin Davis, 48. Thanks for your service, Bud. Thanks. I really appreciate what you have done to protect my family and yours. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so we would live in those houses, and then we would move again to another house, depending on the area of operation, the AO. And once we go to a new house, we would, do the same thing. Set up on the roof, set up security, do the exact same thing. We would normally stay no more than 2 houses. So 3-6 days, and then go to maybe another house, depending on the condition of the roads. Meaning we can only move when roads are cleared. Because IED was just crazy at that time. I don't know about the time before, but it was crazy in 2007. So Frosty 6892. I'm going to Army and getting airborne in my contract. Ooh, my buddy's airborne. Good shit. Good luck. Hey, Preston Stu. Love your content, man. Awesome stuff. Keep it up. Thank you, brother. Love your shit too, man. History teacher over here. Everybody follow Preston Stu. Yeah, that's cool. Some cool shit. Yeah, so we would stay in those houses, and then finally, after maybe 7 to 10 days being outside of the wire, we would go back to Camp Fallujah, to the main base, and it was so nice. It was like one of the best feelings, and we would do that every 10 days. Go back to the base, shit, shower, shave, right? Meaning we would go back in the middle of the night, put fuel in the trucks, clean everything up, park all the trucks in the mortar pool, and then go straight to, and we would shower, get a fucking shower, hot shower, and then go straight to the chow hall. And they'll have like midnight rations, right? Mid-rats. And whoever's in the military and been in this situation, you know how great it is. Like, even the food isn't that great. Maybe I liked the food, but then also I just couldn't eat. I don't know why. I ate a lot of avocados for some reason. But just being able to be back into base and eat a hot meal, it was great. And then we would maybe stay, depending if we had to do some like training, like shooting, cause we had to train, even though we would go back out the wire and start shooting, get into fights, whatever. We still came back and then still trained, You know, we would still train, go to the range and do some night shooting and stuff like that. Or, you know, but most of the time we would come back, shower, clean everything up, go eat, sleep, wake up, and just gather ammo again, fill the trucks up back with supplies, and head back out. So we would have like 2 day max back in base. Call home. We call home, say, you know, hey, what's up? I'm still alive, and then we would leave again, and we do that just for the 7 months, 6 to 7 months. Go out, and again, to keep doing that. And time went by fast like that because you're always busy. You're always busy. Justin Steven, LOL. Thanks for the vid on Matt Abate. Oh man, I appreciate it. I want to, so on my videos with all the tributes, I want to redo them. You know, in the beginning when I first did them, you know, I think I could do it better. And I know for a fact, like for TikTok, it's not like people go back into your profile and then start looking for other videos, because I never do that. I don't know if that's what other people do, but yeah, I wanna do like some of the older tributes as well. I mean, there's so many freaking so many troops, so many warriors that we gotta do more. The list is crazy. You know, so I want to just trying to give airtime to these guys, man. Just, you know, I mean, I think it's pretty cool that, you know, there's like this, that you guys, you know, whoever watches these tributes, that you guys really appreciate them. I really appreciate that. I didn't, you know, I want to say that I didn't think people cared, but I just never knew you know, nobody was telling these stories as much. I always found them great. Like, you know, like, whoa, you know, you always, I was so infatuated with what, you know, Marines and everyone and soldiers and everyone who sacrificed, the ultimate sacrifice did, you know. This is, how do you not tell the story? I think that was one of my biggest guilt was, you know, to be honest, it was like a survival guilt, I guess. And then later on, it was like, I said that to myself. I was like, you know, I gotta tell these stories. Because a lot of people don't want to talk about their time in Iraq, which is or Afghanistan or any war, you know, which is very understandable. And it was, in the beginning for me, it was very hard too. And you know, my wife doesn't even know anything about it. So she only knows by watching these TikToks. My first TikToks were actually old videos. I fortunately used to vlog a lot too. Before vlogging was a thing, I vlogged while I was in Iraq, fortunately. So I had a lot of footage of me just chewing gum in the turret, you know, stuff like that, just talking into the camera. And like that, this is like beginning of YouTube. Not even when 2007, so I don't think YouTube was even, I think it just started in 2007. I remember, somewhere around there. It wasn't as popular like now. We didn't have like vloggers and stuff like that. But yeah, I would just record a lot of stuff. So I'm glad that I had a lot of footage. I never showed them to pretty much anybody. And then TikTok came along, and I'm like, we gotta tell these stories. We gotta tell. My story is more like other people's stories. Like, so that's why I love, if I do tell a story, man, the veterans, man, my brothers and sisters, they know what I'm talking about, you know, which gives me chills. I love it. I really love it. I love, like, you know, they're like, they remember it. I hope it's not the bad parts though. It's not. I hope it doesn't trigger anything, you know. But try to make it as much good. I don't know. Thank you for all your time. Let me see what's there. I actually gotta go soon, so I was gonna cut this to a 30-minute little podcast. It's a weird podcast. All right, let's see. I think a lot of people Asked a bunch of questions. Thank you for your service. It's great. Thank you. Semper Fi, brother. Semper Fi. KVP 1120. In the early 80s, we had no communications home. Yeah, but it's tough. Yeah, back then, when I would go to the VA, I would talk to older veterans. They'd tell me some stories. Different. Man, I mean, of course it's different, but it's crazy. Who is that? Copper Eye Joe. Your videos are great. One of the only ones I stopped scrolling for. Thanks for what you do. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for saying I owe you my life to you. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. All right. Well, I'm going to do this again. One thing I do want to talk about is that before I go is his on Instagram, 2nd Battalion 7th MAR History. That's the name of it. I hope. Let me get this right. It's a long name. 2nd 2NDBN 7TH MAR MAR History, which is for the 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines. Their history. They put up a post, which I want to go follow them. Go check this post out. It's about Corporal Clay Hunt. He was in Gulf platoon, Gulf Company, 3rd platoon, and he was deployed when I was deployed in Iraq. His story. Let me just tell you his thing real quick. He just to touch on it. He went to Iraq. Then once 2-7 went to Iraq. We went to Iraq and we came back. I got out. I had the option either to extend, and stay in and then do one more deployment, or get out. And I chose to get out. And then a lot of my friends got hurt, who I went to Iraq with. Afghanistan was a different beast from what they're telling me. Not that Iraq is easy, or not one's easier or harder, but I want to say within the first few months, I think 25 got KIA. I'm not sure, something like that. I remember getting calls and saying, shit's going down hard. One of my sergeants died, and who I knew, it was crazy. One of my buddies, Wilson, he got fragged right in the face. Lost. In Iraq too, when we were on the roof, my buddy, we just hear a shot, like boom. He got shot right in the chest. He just collapsed. He got like this giant. Luckily, he has his SAPI plates on, so fortunately, he just had like a giant bruise, and he said that it felt like he got punched in the chest by a fucking MMA fighter. And he survived that, and then he went to Afghanistan. A bunch of them did. Most of them did. Went to Afghanistan after that, and they got fucked up again. And they fucked shit up too. Don't get that wrong. And so I wasn't even getting with that. So yeah, Corporal Clay, he went to Afghanistan. I believe he got shot in the wrist by a sniper, and he survived that. He survived Iraq. He survived Afghanistan. He came home, and I believe let me see this just to get it right. And he even traveling to Haiti in 2009 with other Marine veterans to help after a devastating earthquake. So he even went to Haiti after he got out of the Marines. So survived 2 wars, 2 deployments or more. I don't know, but and then he went to Haiti to help. And he was struggling with PTSD. Man, the VA, from what I'm reading at the Instagram page, go check it out again. They wouldn't put his 30% up any higher for some freaking reason, and they did that to me too. They did that to a lot of people. They did that a lot. It's weird. It's freaking weird because a lot of Marines that I know who I was in combat with, who, you know, we went out the wire. We were out in the wire. We didn't go out the wire every day. We were out in the wire every day, you know. So I know some other Marines or other, you know, troops that never even left the wire, and you know, they get full benefits. But I don't know what their system. I don't know what the VA system is, you know. But they gotta get their shit together, especially reading something like this. So Corporal Clay, you know, he didn't get the help that he needed. It says here, as he struggled to find employment and his marriage unraveled, he locked himself in his apartment and turned the gun on himself. So I have a few friends that did that. I think I lost more friends after the war. It's crazy. All right. Well, thank you guys. You know, go check that out. 2nd Battalion, 7th Marine History, 2 NDBN 7TH Mar History on Instagram. Go check them out. Give them a follow. Give them some love. Those are my brothers. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for joining. Love you all. Thank you guys all for the support. I'll do this again soon. All right. Thanks.